Hi, I'm Movie Man. I'm an octopus who reviews movies, and today's review is going to be on
Waiting.
now. Obviously, this film has been out for quite a few weeks now. It's been out for like nearly a month now. So you're probably wondering like why am I only getting to it now? It's cause I do tend to be a bit late to some films. Like they've like quite a few movies that I've seen in the cinema that I have yet to review, and yeah, this was one of those films on the list. I saw this movie a few weeks ago when it released, but I just haven't had the chance to talk about it yet. But now that I have some time here, I figured maybe I'll finally give my thoughts on this one. So, Longlegs. As I said, this film came out a few weeks ago, and yeah, leading up to the release for this one, I'm sure you all know this movie honestly has a great marketing campaign around it. Because like the trailers and stuff. They released for like they were kind of putting up kind of stuff all over about this film, putting like cryptic codes and stuff, and yeah, what you call it, like even like some of the like TV spots that they were putting up for it. It honestly genuinely looks really good, and yeah, like some of the early reactions to this one were quite insane. Like people praising it, calling it like the scariest movie of the year, and even some calling it like the scariest movie ever made. Now, personally, I wouldn't go as far as to say it's like the scariest movie ever made, but yeah, the buzz around this movie was insane, and in terms of like the reviews for it and stuff, it was getting some genuinely positive reviews. Now, there were some who were kind of a bit less down by it just because they feel like the marketing had hyped it up a bit too much. But the general consensus seems to be that, you know, most people thought it was very good, and yeah, this was a film which I found very intriguing, alright, from the marketing that I had seen for it. So I decided, that I would give this film a watch when it released. So yeah, it released there in cinemas a few weeks ago now, and I went to see it the week of its release, and having seen it for myself now, what do I think? Now, let me just say this right off the bat. It's not my favourite horror film like ever made. I don't think this film is exactly a masterpiece. And I wouldn't call it the scariest film I've ever seen, but I will say though, I did genuinely love this film. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I thought this was a great movie. Like, honestly, so far this year, in terms of horror films, now I know there are some horror movies that have come out that I still have yet to review, but in terms of horror this year, I think honestly it's been quite a mixed bag. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, we have had some good films, alright, like Abigail, but at the same time, we've also had a few flops like The Exorcism and stuff, and yeah, so far, up until now, my favourite horror that I've seen this year has easily been The First Omen. You guys remember I really enjoyed that movie, but I have to say, I think this movie has honestly surpassed The First Omen for me just slightly. Like, I honestly think this is like the new best horror movie of the year. I'm not gonna lie, I honestly had a great time with this film. But anyway, so we're 6.5 minutes into this review now, so let's get going into my thoughts. So cinematography wise, I think this film is really good. Like, I mean, the film has like this certain scale, so at times has this kind of this certain like very kind of tense like aspect ratio where it's kind of hard for me to explain it, but you know, if you know what I'm saying, like at times it feels kind of very closed in, alright, but I'm not gonna lie, I honestly think that actually works for the film really well, and it actually does provide some genuinely really creepy and memorable shots. And like, also, I just think in general, it's just a very well shot movie. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I think this is definitely one of the best of the year in terms of cinematography, because I'm not gonna lie, I just think the way this movie is shot is just done really well. So yeah, honestly, I would say that like the cinematography is really good and genuinely creepy and memorable. Um, the editing in this film, I think, is also really good. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I actually think this movie has some of the best editing of this year. Like, the way this movie is edited, you know, like, there'll be, like, certain scenes in the movie that, will be set, like, prior to the events taking place, and when that does come in, like, you know, like, it's something confusing, like, you can tell, you know, when it's being set in a different time, but like, not to mention, I just think like what they do with the editing, just the way the movie is edited, it's honestly just really good, and along with the cinematography, just really helps in adding that whole creepiness to the film. Now honestly, I think the editing here is really good. Like, along with the cinematography, it's technically wise a very well made film, honestly. So yeah, I think the editing in this movie is great. In terms of the film's pace, now this isn't like an overly long film. Like, this film is 102 minutes. So it's not really like that long of a film, and honestly, I think that's honestly a good enough runtime for the movie, and I have to say, I think the film actually does a very good job with its pacing. Like, you know, the film goes at a reasonable enough pace, and it doesn't really feel like a very long film, but with that being said, it is actually quite a slow burner of a movie. There's a fair amount of sequences here that kind of do feel like they go on a bit, but honestly, I don't think that's a bad thing. I actually think, that really helps in actually making this movie as creepy as it is. And yeah, for the most part, I think the film does a good job of keeping you engaged during it. I think it's a really engaging mystery. So yeah, honestly, I have to say I think the pacing is good, and it does well enough in building up the whole mystery aspects of the film, leading up to the revelation in the third act. I think all that is done very well here. So yeah, I think overall the pacing in this movie is very good. The sound and music also in this film, I have to say, is really well done. This film actually features some genuinely really creepy sound effects, which honestly I think is done very well. And in terms of the film's score, the film actually has a good score, and it's genuinely quite creepy and eerie. Also contributes to really making this a very creepy film. So yeah, I have to say, in terms of the sound and music, I think they did a tremendous job with it. So now, getting into the characters and the performances from the cast. Starting things off with our main character in this film, Lee Harker, and she's basically this young FBI agent, and there's some who feel like maybe she's not quite ready for something like this, but honestly, I actually did find Lee a genuinely very compelling character. I think she's without a doubt the best version of this kind of character since Clarice Starling, because she's genuinely a compelling character. And the movie actually goes in depth with her character, and actually there's some reveals about her character, and how she's very good with this sort of thing. She's actually a genuinely compelling protagonist, and the film honestly does a good job at putting you in her shoes. Not to mention, I think Maika Monroe does a great performance here. This film's coming out about a decade after she stars in It Follows, which, if you haven't seen that, it's also a great horror movie that she's also the main lead in. And to be fair, with that movie, she did definitely prove how great of a horror actress she is, but she proves that once again with this film. Just straight up kind of really becomes Lee Harker. The way she just plays this character is done really well. Also, I have to say, she definitely gave a great performance in this film. Easily one of the best female performances that I've seen this year. I thought she did a great job. And the other character in this movie is the titular character himself, Longlegs, who is, this serial killer who in the film is being hunted down. Yeah, he was genuinely really creepy, I have to say. Oh boy, he actually was a genuinely creepy character. He's not in the film for a lot of it, but when he is on screen, oh boy, he is a genuinely really creepy character. Well, I have to say, he's played in this, of course, by the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Nicolas Cage, and oh boy, I have to say, usually, Nicolas Cage, he has definitely given some great performances, but honestly, I think this might actually be his best performance of all the ones I've seen of him this decade, because oh boy, he honestly did such a great job here. Like the way he played this character, Nicolas Cage is always known for going really kind of over the top. It's it is his thing, but he takes it to 11 here, and oh boy, he actually sells this creepy serial killer character really well. Oh my god, I can see some people maybe finding it a bit unintentionally funny, but I'm not gonna lie, I did genuinely find Cage really creepy in this role. Oh, he did it so well, honestly. Yeah, I thought Cage was great here, and Longlegs was genuinely a really creepy character. In terms of other characters, I think overall the supporting cast does good here. We have Blair Underwood in this, and he's basically Lee's boss. He's kind of in charge of this place. He's genuinely a solid supporting character. I thought he did well, and there were some genuinely really good supporting turns in this, from Alicia Witt. I won't get too much into her character, but she has a supporting role in this as Lee's mother. I thought she played that role really well. And we have Kiernan Shipka in this as well. She's only in this movie for one scene, but she basically plays this survivor of Longlegs, and even though she only had one scene in the whole film, I thought she genuinely did well for the one scene that she had. So, the characters overall I thought were very good, especially Lee and Longlegs, but I have to say that acting in this movie I thought was really well done, with especially Maika, Monroe and Nicolas Cage being standouts. So, good characters, but very good acting, I have to say. In terms of this film's plot, the film does have an intriguing premise. Now, obviously, it's not exactly the most original concept that you've seen out there, hunting down this serial killer, and with it focusing on this lead character being a female FBI agent, obviously you can really tell that there is definitely some Silence of the Lambs influence in here, alright. Of course, Silence of the Lambs is kind of a master of its own kind. Honestly, in the 30 or so years that have passed since that film's release, there have been kind of many other films that have kind of tried to replicate its style, but none of them have really been able to, be as good as that film was. But I have to say, if there's ever been a film that has gotten close enough, definitely this film, because it's a genuinely really intriguing mystery. What really kind of sells off it is the performances. Maika Monroe definitely does a great job leading this film, but the way it tells this story, like the way it like builds up to everything, it's genuinely done really well. It's actually a very intriguing mystery, and like, not to mention, there's also some of the other aspects with the cinematography, the editing, the music. It's honestly a very creepy film. Like, it's definitely not one for the faint of heart, because it is genuinely a really creepy horror film. Like, there is like a few jump scares in here, but it's when they do show up, it's genuinely really well done. And overall, I think it's just a really, creepy experience, and it all just builds up to the third act revelation, and obviously I won't give it away, but honestly, I think it is actually a genuinely really good reveal, and it's not one that you saw coming, but the way it was all built up to and everything, I thought it was genuinely really well done. So, overall, I think the plot of this movie was great. Like, well, it was an intriguing concept. The execution of it, I thought, was really well done, and yeah, as well as some of the other aspects, like really bringing it along, they just did a great job at executing it. So overall, I thought the plot was great, and in terms of the film's narrative structure, now, like, obviously, with this film kind of being like hunt for a serial killer, like, I would say it's kind of the main plot of the movie, with her trying to hunt down longlegs, but throughout the film, we're finding all these clues and stuff, and it's all kind of leading up to this much bigger picture, and the movie does a great job with it, honestly, keeping you really invested, and the movie does delve a bit into longlegs and some of the murders he committed, and it's really creepy, but it is genuinely really engaging, and honestly does really help you bring you into this whole mystery. And along with that, the film delves a bit into Lee's character and her past and stuff, and the way that's all done is honestly just done so well. And I think the way that they all kind of like intertwine together, like when the third act comes around, it is done brilliantly, and with the way it was all built up, it's genuinely a satisfying payoff. So overall, I thought they did a great job with the narrative structure, making everything fit in together and building up this whole mystery, and having the twist actually be a satisfying payoff to it all. So I thought they did a great job with that. So overall, I was really happy I finally got a chance to talk about Longlegs, because this is a great movie in my opinion. Like, it's definitely in my top 10 of the year. It's honestly my favourite horror film I've seen this year. The aspects of the film with the cinematography, the editing, the pacing, the score, the characters, the performances, the plot, the narrative structure, I think it is all done genuinely so well. I don't think it's a perfect movie. Like, there are some flaws I do have with it, just that, like, I don't know, I feel like maybe just some small things could have been done a bit better, and I think it all just comes down to the fact that it was hyped up a bit to be the scariest film ever made. So I don't think it is the scariest film ever made, but Nonetheless, it is a genuinely really creepy film with an intriguing mystery and great performances that if you love horror, you love serial killer mysteries and stuff, this is definitely worth a watch. So with that, I am going to give Longlegs a 9 out of 10. So with that, I'll see you guys next time, and bye.